All right, back testing session. Share my screen on Discord here as well. All right, everything should be good. All right, so it's obviously been a mess recently in the market, and we also have a lot of people joining. So I wanted to make sure that people are. Show my webcam shows what the fuck I'm trying to do here. Trying to make sure that people are aware of the strategy. So basically what we're looking for is when we're taking a trade, we want top-down analysis, so we want some higher time frame bias, like a fair value gap getting respected. We're looking for an SMT, and then we're looking for the highest time frame inverse off a liquidity sweep. That's basically the best way to summarize it. And I'm always going to trade from I'm always going to trade the AM session, so 9:30 a.m. to to 11 a.m. All right, so let's get into it. So first things first, this is the market open right here on NAS. So first thing I'm always going to do is we're going to look at the 15-minute and see if anything recent has happened. So we just inversed this fair value gap on 15-minute. Don't think it saved any of my shit, so I'll just type it in. Not happy that it's purple, but it's fine. So nothing really on the hourly here to give us anything. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere right now. What is this? March of 2023. So we're pretty far away. So we had the 15-minute. We inversed this at open, and we also opened this fair value gap off open. So right now, shorts are looking pretty decent. But we're going to go on this 1 minute, and we're going to see if we could get any retrace back into this and get an entry. Okay, so we just tapped that. What we can also do is, I guess it's not going to let me look at ES, which is kind of annoying because I have the free version. So we're just going to have to assume if we have an SMT or not. Okay, so we swept this liquidity here. So right now, we've already checked two boxes. We have our liquidity sweep, and we have our higher time frame bias that we want to go short. Now what we do is we wait for the highest time frame inversion to occur. So right now, we didn't get any fair value gap on 1 minute here. So we're just going to wait for anything. By the way, if you guys have any questions, you could talk or you could at me in the chat, and I will answer them at any time. Let's see here. So no fair value gap yet. Still nothing. Just chopping around right now. If we look on some higher time frames like the 5 minute, still nothing here. We came up and we respected this 5 minutes, so short's still a good. And then we have this little 3 minute inversion here. So this could potentially be a play. We didn't really get a close down below on it. Still nothing on 3 minute. Nothing on 5, so let's see if we close below on this 3 minute. All right, so we got the close there on the 3 minute. It's not the best close, but we'll go here. I'm pissed that I'm using NAS, so I have no idea what my sizing is. So what I'll always do is I'll try to get TP1 hit around 1-to-1. So let's once again just review why I'm taking this trade. We have our higher time frame bias. We bounced off the 15s. We bounced off the 5. We got a liquidity sweep. There might be a fucking SMT. I have no idea. And then we have the highest time frame inversion. So what I mean by highest time frame inversion, the 15-minute, the hourly, those are directional. I use those time frames to figure out what direction the trade is going to go. So since we respected a bearish fair value gap on the 15-minute, that's why I'm thinking shorts, right? And then with highest time frame inversion, my entry time frames are the 5 minute, the 3 minute, the 2 minute, which should be starred. Can I not do that? That's so fucking dumb. Let's see. Bam. Okay, so the 5 minute, the 3 minute, the 2 minute, and the 1 minute. If there's an inversion on the 2 minute, but we're still inside a 3 minute, I'm not going to take anything until the 3 minute closes. Same thing with 3 and 5, and etc. So we got this close here. I don't really know what the contracts are, so I'm just going to press a random. So here we are. We're in our sell position, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take partials. Usually around, that was about 3 points, usually around 1-to-1, sometimes even less. So here's TP1. Use our measuring stick here. So as we know, this is 3.4 points. This is about 2.5, so I'll just go to this low for TP1. This is an estimated stop. My stop is always going to be if the candle closes above. And then TP2, we'll just target a random liquidity pool. This low looks nice. So let's try this here. Let's see if this works. So TP1 gets hit. You may be like, oh, would you have gotten stopped out there? I'm always waiting for the candle to close, and it didn't even hit the fair value gap anyway. So automatically, TP1 has been hit. So this is a break-even trade, right? So, dude, I wish I knew how to fucking use this bullshit. I hate this thing so much. I'm just gonna, like, full exit. Yeah, I'll just show you guys the position. It doesn't really matter. So TP1 is hit. The reason why I do TP1 so quick is just because the win rate is so high that if I do lose, I'll have enough trades that at least hit TP1 plus trades that will sometimes come down and hit both TPs that it'll cancel out very, very easily. So let's see. Usually on TP1, by the way, I'm taking out like 75% of my position. Anywhere like that. Like if you go here, this is my risk for 300K. Like if I have my 10 accounts right now, my TP1, you know, I'll be trading 240 micros total because it's 24 per account. Crazy risk, I know. And I'll take out 200 at TP1, which would be 20, you know. So 20 of my 24 micros are out at TP1. All right, let's go back. So TP1 has been hit. We're probably going to get stop break even. Bam. So as you can see, we would have gotten stopped out if we didn't take TP1. And like I said, I always look for TP1 around 1-to-1 RR. So this is 3.23. This low looked good. You could have targeted this low for 4, but I really don't try to go for anything above 1 RR on my TP1. So that would be a TP1 hit trade. All right, and like I said, I only trade 9:30 to 11, and I just take one trade a day, win or lose, and I get the fuck off. Now it is 9:54, so we're going to skip to the next day. All right, here we go. Hopefully simple so far. Now we'll skip 15. Don't really use this software, so bear with me. All right, now let's go to the open. The open is about to happen right now on this next day, all right? So this is a 9:30 candle. Once again, let's go to our hourly, let's go to our 15, and let's get a narrative of where we think price is going to go. So we inverse these small fair value gaps above, and we've been bleeding ever since. We got this very outstanding low right here, as well as this guy that we're targeting. So we have some lows. We could just continue to displace. One thing I could look for is a trade off of one of those lows, like a reversal trade, or maybe a continuation, but I'm assuming price is just going to go to those lows before we get any setup. But let's see. Okay, so we come back a little bit here. Are we coming back into anything on the 15? No. So the closest 15 is up there. 5-minute wise, we're also pretty far from everything, so we're just going to wait this out. Let's just keep on going through. I'm expecting we're not going to get a trade until we hit one of these lows. Really just bouncing through. Probably going to hit this low on this next candle. Oh, we edged it. Great. So, like I said, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out right now how to fucking see. Would anybody know how to do like a dual screen on this bullshit? Let's compare with ES. Does that work? There we go. Let's see. No, that just puts it at the bottom, right? Yeah, I fucking hate this bullshit. Alright. Okay, whatever. So, I don't know if there's an SMT or not here. We're going to have to wait and see. But let's see. Alright, so we took out the low, finally. Now, are we hitting off anything hourly-wise? So, we have a higher time frame liquidity sweep. Not hitting anything on the 15 or hourly. And there is a 4-hour fair value gap down here. So, maybe we'll come down to that. So, let's wait and see. Like I said, I get off at around 11, maybe 11:10 if the setup's loading. Okay, so we came up, and let's see if we have anything on 2 or 3 or 5. No fair value gaps. So this is what I would like to call dog shit. You know, there is this 1 minute above. That's a little far for me, but let's see if we get up to it. Would like us to get something a little bit better. Nothing on 2, nothing on 3, nothing on 5. Still, just chopping around here. Okay. Okay, so still nothing. We re-sweeped this low, which is better. So now we're displacing. We may be going down for that 4-hour. We just came up and we inversed this 1 minute. There is this 2 minute above. There's also this 3 minute above, so there might be a 5. No. Okay, so the only time we take this trade now is if we get this 3 minute inverse. Now we're going to skip to the 3 minute. Once again, that's because it's the highest time frame with a fair value gap that we want to inverse to the upside, so we wait for that. Okay, so we got the close above there, so now we're going to get in this long. So remember, stop, you could estimate it's going to be around the close below, so I'd say about 5 points. TP2 will be these equal highs, as you can see. Very good liquidity pool. And then, like I said, RR doesn't need to be more than 5. So we'll go like right here to this high. So that is going to be TP1 for us. All right, let's see how this goes. Boom. Okay, so TP1 is hit. 75% of the position is immediately scaled out. And I feel like this probably goes without saying, but remember, when TP1 gets hit, move the stop loss to break even on your runners, all right? See what happens. See if the runners hit. Okay, so by this point, if we're right there, I would probably be trailing my stop loss aggressively to probably this point. So we'll just move it to there and see if we get stopped on our trailing. Maybe, might have. Holy shit, this is a bad price action. Boom. Okay, so both TPs are shattered there. Depending on how aggressively you trail your stop, you could have gotten fucked. But no matter what, you're getting profit on all your contracts. So that's a good-ass trade. So we're 2 for 2. Let's delete this for value gap. Let's delete this line. And let's go to the next day, right? Anybody got any questions so far? Is this how you take out evals? Is liquidity sweep comparable from the change of manipulation to the distribution phase? Okay, so first of all, is this how you take out evals? Do you mean like, is this how I pass evals? Yeah, so I'll pass evals one of 2 ways. The first way I'll pass an eval is by doing this and going super high, like getting like an A setup and just like over leveraging crazy so I can pass in like 1 to 2 trades. The second way is by gambling like news events. So like if NFP or CPI comes out, I know it's going to be a big volume candle, so I'll buy a bunch of accounts and I'll hedge, meaning I'll put 10 long right at 9:30 or 8:30 or whenever the candle is, and I'll put 10 short. So no matter what, you know, if the candle goes crazy, 80 points to the upside or 80 points to the downside, no matter what, 10 of those accounts are going to pass and 10 of them are going to fail. So now for Gabber Bert's questions. Damn near an eval cheek. No, literally, dude, I'm telling you. I don't know why people are like, fuck, I can't pass an eval. If you know how to trade, you should do that, for sure. It'll save you a lot of time. Is liquidity sweep comparable from change of manipulation to the distribution phase? So yes, technically yes. That's what I like to think of it as, because there are things called swing lows, and then there are things called protected lows, and then same with highs. A swing low is, you know, that liquidity sweep where you're just taking out a regular low, and a protected low is where you take out a swing low that's also in a fair value gap. And so either way, those are going to be basically us changing because we manipulated to the downside and now we're going to distribute or reverse back up. So it's kind of like that AMD thing where you'll accumulate and then you'll manipulate to the downside, take out that low and take out a lot of orders, and then we'll distribute back to the upside. And I will enter on the IFEG only on the close. I only enter share Google Doc, please, with instructions, fire strat. Thanks, bro. And yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Just DM me personally after the stream and I got you. And enter on the IFEG. I'm always going to enter right when the candle closes, meaning the body closes above. So when we took this trade here, which I'm already fucking, like, I can't remember. Right here, right here. So this candle body closed above this small ass fair value gap. That's when I got in. If we went above this and then came back and didn't close above it, then I wouldn't enter. I would have entered on the next candle. You know what I mean? So that's when I'm entering on the IFEG. So, yeah. All right. Let's try another one. Or if you guys get another question. And, yeah, just remember to at me on the question so I can get the noti. Sorry if I'm a little distracted when I'm trading. I'm just dumb as hell. All right, let's skip here. What time is it? So now it's 12 a.m. 9 a.m. All right. Okay, now we're at the 9:30. So, yeah, once again, only trading the AM session. So now let's see the 9:30 candle. Wow, that is super underwhelming. All right, let's go to the hourly, right? So nothing crazy on the hourly in terms of inversing, but we do have this big-ass hourly that we're looking to take out soon. We also are on the 15, Nothing crazy on the 15-minute except for, this 15 inside the hourly. So really, immediately I'm thinking we're probably going to come in this and then bounce. That's my assumption. All right. Now let's wait. Wow, just straight edge of that right there. So let's see. Do we get a respect of anything? We get a respect of this 5-minute that we formed. So there's two things you could do here. You could wait for us to come back up and hit this, or you could take a draw on liquidity play. And what a draw on liquidity play is basically you're like, okay, I am very certain that price is going to come up to these unfilled fair value gaps. So I'm going to try to take a long off a respect to go up to there. So we could do that technically. Let's see if that's a good idea. Seems like we might just inverse that 5-minute. So we did get a shit close there, sadly. Let's see what happens on this 5. So this is the close of the 5. The only reason why I'm pretty annoyed about this is we just missed this hourly fair value gap here. So we are technically, though, bouncing off this big ass 4 hour. So part of me would say I probably wouldn't take this trade because we just missed that hourly, but we are getting this 4 hour bounce. We have a 5-minute inverse, which is super high probability. We took out this big ass high here. So part of me would say this is a good trade, while the other part of me would question if this is a manipulation leg so we could come back up and hit those fair value gaps. So I would probably take this on an eval. This would be one of those trades that I was just talking to you about, T, about like this would be a trade that I put on my eval account that I'm pretty confident in. So this is a 22-point stop. That's pretty fat, crazy volatility. So if it's 22 points, we're looking for, 20 or so to the downside. So I'd probably do like this candle body. So that's going to be TP1. Once again, this would be an eval. I wouldn't risk live capital on it just because I'm a little concerned about the boom. And that would be a loss because we closed above the fair value gap. And that's why I'm the GOAT, because I know how the market moves. I'm actually a market manipulator. So once again, the reason why I didn't like that is because we didn't come into the 1 hour. We just edged it. And for me, I feel like that's the draw. Remember how I said to you guys we could take a draw on liquidity play? So we did come down and respect this lower 5-minute here. And when we did that, guess what we did? We inversed this 5-minute right here. So for me, assuming there's no 15-minute in the way there, you could totally take this to the unfilled hourly. That to me is such a better trade than the one I just showed. And that is about 1-to-1 RR. So what I would do is I would leave a runner for this big ass high right here. And I would TP1 at the fair value gap. So yeah, that would be the trade. So this would be the trade that I take on live. Does everybody, real quick before I show this, understand the difference of why I took those two trades? So let's see here. Sounds like it. If it runs through the IFVG, you enter basically. Yeah, assuming that we have, higher time frame, direction, an S&T, a liquidity sweep, anything like that. I'm pissed that this bitch-ass platform doesn't show S&Ts, or at least I don't know how. But, yeah, like that, the reason why I know, right, it is a fire setup. Like, if this doesn't work, that's totally fine with me. That's the thing that I think a lot of people get mistaken about. Like, one of the biggest problems with trading psychology is that people will strategy hop. So, if you go on like a 2 or 3 day loss, you think that your strategy doesn't work anymore. But I always use this analogy, like if you have an 80% win rate and you open an account and you lose the first 20 trades, that doesn't mean that your strategy doesn't work, because you're going to then statistically win the next 80. Pretty extreme example, but, So if this doesn't work here, this is an A+ setup. This will work almost 80% of the time. So here's the first candle, second candle, bam. So TP1 gets hit because we tap in. And a very big reason why I took this TP1 is because, remember guys, ICT teaches that price is always looking to do two things. It's either looking to seek out liquidity, so those swing highs or swing lows, or rebalance and imbalance, meaning tap into an unfilled fair value gap. Unfilled fair value gap, shout out PB Trading, because their mechanical model means that they usually target unfilled fair value gaps. These are great targets for price. I'm assuming I'm going to get stop break even on my runner here, but I don't give a fuck. Bam, stopped on the runner. That's why we TP at the unfilled fair value gap, right? So those are the 3 trades so far. And remember, like no stop outs yet. And that's why we did the eval play, because I said, you know, I have a feeling we could get a draw on liquidity play to this unfilled fair value gap. And I was pretty annoyed that we didn't hit that unfilled fair value gap, because I think that's where price is going to magnetize to, because price always wants to hit those imbalances and rebalance them. So then when I got this setup to go back to it, that is, in my opinion, the better play. Let's see if we ever, so that would be, you know, a TP1 play, and then it would get stopped out. Let's see if we ever go for this high. Oh, jeez. Really tough to get a high. Boom. Okay, so we shot through that, but that was, honestly, could have been news, to be honest. 130, I don't even know what that was. But we do end up shooting through that high. That is definitely news. What the fuck is that candle? Yeah, 170 points in 5 minutes. That's, thank the fucking Lord we were trading AM. So, yeah, that's the gist of it. We'll get a couple more in here if you guys have any other questions. That would be a good entry as well. Which one? Which one specifically here? I swear to God, bro, it bounced on the lower for value gap. What, the one I just took or a different one? Let me make sure my mic is working on my OBS. Yeah, it is, thank God. Yeah, the one I just took was fucking basically an A setup, or I would say probably A, yeah. So if you're targeting an unfilled fair value gap, meaning a fair value gap that hasn't gotten tapped into yet, that is basically the equivalent of a 10 out of 10 coming up to you and asking for your number. That is like, that shit doesn't happen, at least to me. But yeah, the reason why I like that shit so much is because, like I said, price is always looking to take out those highs and lows, and that's usually what causes reversals. That's also why I TP1 there, because I knew price wanted to go there, but I also knew price could totally reverse as soon as it taps it. Does that make sense? So that's why we take out a large percentage of our position. So when people say, you know, why do you TP1 so aggressively, like 75%? Because I'm very confident that my TP1 is going to hit, you know what I mean? So I'm able to be like, listen, my TP1 is about to get smashed here. And, sorry, make sure we're at 930 here. My TP1 is going to get smashed, and that way I can, you know, save myself from a fat loss and keep my protection. So right now we're like, what, 3 for 3, 4 for 4? I don't even remember. You know, if we take a loss, we're still going to be up. You know what I mean? All right, next day. So this is the 930 opening candle. Pretty fucking shit. Now let's go to the hourly. So this, contrary to popular belief, isn't a fair value gap. It's called a volume imbalance. And the reason why it's not a fair value gap is because we closed right here on this candle, and then we opened up here. And that's not really possible. The reason why that happens is because there's an imbalance in volume. So we spiked up, and that's not price moving. That's, you know, a volume spike rather than actual orders. Or, well, you know what I mean. So that's not actually a fair value gap. But we did inverse this hourly to the downside. So looking a little bearish. Let's see if we're tapping into anything on the 15. Nothing really except for that volume imbalance. So for me right now, there's nothing great here. There's nothing. We did inverse this 4 hour. Oh, fuck, it's a volume imbalance. So there's really nothing here except for like this low that I would target on 15 or on hourly and 15. So for me, no good trades. The only thing that I would think of right now, the market just opened, is, okay, can we come down and get a reversal trade off this low? Or can we make like a 5 minute like this, come up and respect it and do what we just did where we get a draw on liquidity down to this low? Because remember what I said, price is either seeking liquidity or it's seeking fair value gaps. And we just seeked an unfilled fair value gap on the last trade, and now we could try and seek out this untouched low. So let's see what happens here. We're on the 1 minute now. So we're probably going to tap into this 5, so we just did. Sadly, I don't think we made any fair value gaps doing that. Nope, none. Okay, so hopefully we chop around here and get a better one. Okay, bam, exactly what I thought. So we did get that better one. See if we reverse here now. Okay, so it looks like we inverse this 5 minute. You may be like, why are you not taking this then? It's because there's nothing to fucking take it off of. So, you know what I mean? We didn't sweep any low. We didn't respect any fair value gap. So it's really just a random 5 minute inverse. We did tap into this higher 15 though. So let's see what happens. See what happens with this 15 minute tap. Now that we hit it. Alright, so this is another thing I want to go over. Let's say we inverse this 1 minute and it is the highest time frame we get. Would I take it? No. Why? Because there's another small fair value gap here. And I only take fair value gaps when they're by themselves. So I wouldn't like that. So yes, what I mean by that is if there's two fair value gaps in a row, so right here and then the next candle right here, that's not great because if you get the first inverse, it could just easily bounce off the second one and then go back up and you get fucked. So we have a 2-minute open here, we have a 3-minute open here, and god damn it, we have a 5-minute. So that's pretty annoying. So let's see how close the 5-minute is to the 3. It's literally inside of it. Pause. Okay, great. So we're going to go on the 5-minute now, and we're going to see what we could get here. Okay, Jesus. Wow. Respected that 5-minute pretty well. And then we actually came up and inverse this 5-minute. So would I target this 15? No, because it already got tapped into. You could target, guess what this buddy is called? A protected fucking high. Because it's a high that hasn't been tapped in a fair value gap. So, would I take this trade? I really don't love it, but it is something, you know, we respected and we inversed. And there's a protected high above. So this would be an eval trade. So this is 26 points. This is the stop loss. Stop loss is about 14. So that would be my runner. And then I'd TP1 about like midpoint of this wick. So this is an eval trade, and the reason for the eval trade is because we're really only respecting a 5-minute, and we're going back into a fair value gap super close, but that's why TP1 is so close. Bam, stopped out. I am literally a beast. The reason why that play probably got stopped out is because we made this fair value gap, we respect it, and then we barely inverse this fair value gap right before it. So honestly, part of me could say, yeah, we closed above, but we could just continue to go to the downside because we haven't hit our drawn liquidity yet, which is this low. Because remember, we said, okay, there's a bunch of fair value gaps up here. The only other draw could be this fair value gap upper, because we already hit this lower one. We could go for this protected high, but it's risky longing back into a fair value gap that we've already seen work once before. Because we opened this fair value gap and then look what happened. We came into it and we shot down. So why would we, if we even can get back into it, continue up? You know what I mean? So now we're going to wait again and try to see if we can get a drawn liquidity play. So like I said, fuck, I got to delete this. The drawn liquidity here, there's two 5-minute fair value gaps. This is the lower one. Very small. This is the higher one, obviously. Let's see if we get a close below that. So we got to close below that fair value gap. This would be solid. It's not a singular, but we did close above both of them. There's nothing in the 15 getting in the way. And the stop loss is very small. So we could get a very quick TP. Stop loss is about 18. So we could get TP like at this wick, even a little before it. So I'd say like about here. So this would be a live account trade, and once again, it's because it's going towards my draw. Very, very similar to the last play. The only problem, it doesn't seem like there's any unfilled fair value gap that we could target. Yeah, so let's try this one on live. So that would not be a stop out. It would actually edge our TP. So in live time here, there would be a couple things that you could do. So for me, if we're this close to my TP, especially when it's a pretty fat TP1, 4 points away, some of the time, I would move my stop loss to break even. Some of the time. So this would be a break even trade, potentially, but I'm not going to do that for this video. I will just take the L. So there would be the L because it closed above. So this would be a pretty small L, actually. So what would this be? 9 points. So calm, considering our TP1 was fucking almost double that. So let's see what happens then with price. We could come up for this protected high, which we did, right? As I said, I really only take one trade a day, so I'd be out by this point. But let's just see for the back testing if this protected high would get us a play or anything. There's a 5-minute right here. See if we get a short off it or if we just keep trending up. So there's actually, you know what I actually want to do? Is, let's see if I could like go back in time here. I don't think I can. There was this 5-minute here. I would like to see if there was like a 2-minute or a 3-minute you could have taken. Or even a 1. Down to that unfilled 5, you know what I mean? So if you took this 1 minute, you could have targeted the 5-minute that we opened up right here. You see this 5-minute? Here, I'll draw it out for you guys. So that's the 5-minute for value gap. So we swept this high, that protected high, and then we V-shaped, we came back down, we got a 1-minute inversion because there was no 2 or 3 or 5, and then you could, bam, take it to that unfilled. So the draw and liquidity play was unable to work, sadly. So I think the reason why that didn't work is one of two reasons. One, this wasn't the immediate draw, it was the protected high. Two, I don't fucking know. But, you know, I like this play. I definitely like this play more because we're sweeping the protected high and then we're getting a play to an unflipped 5. That's once again that mechanical model. So I would like that higher play more than the lower play. Not even just because it works, just because it's more efficient. And this was more of a draw to a random low. But once again, I'd probably take that first trade in live time. Would I get break even on it? Depends. Honestly, it would depend on how I feel in the moment. Because what time's that trade at? 10:30? Yeah, I'd probably go break even on that shit. Because if it's 10:30 and that's the best trade I'm getting, not that it's a bad trade, I'd probably be a little weary of how price action is on the day. So, but of course, if I'm live trading, I'll tell you guys when I'm break even. Okay, how much would you make off a single B plus to A setup? Okay, so it depends on how many TPs are getting hit. Double bottom and go long? Fuck no, I don't do that technical analysis shit. So it depends. I usually try to risk, like on a 50k eval, I'll risk about anywhere from 250 to 400. And then on a 300k, I'll usually risk about 950. So my TP1 will usually get me, a little less than that, obviously, because it's usually about 1 RR and it's not the full position. So I'll usually make, let's say on a 300k, I'm risking 950 to make anywhere from like 850 to like 1400. Or even more, depending on how fat the runner is and if it hits fully. You know what I mean? So anywhere in that range. And, I have about an 80% win rate. So let's say I get only TP1 hit 4 times, right? Copy trade, yeah, of course. I always copy trade. I got plenty of accounts. Plenty of Apexes, and I also have a live account, so I traded on all of them. Yeah, so if you want to get specific there, like, let's say if I have 4 trades that hit for $800, and then I have that $950 loss. I'm still up $2,250 on the week per 300k account. I have 20, I made $45,000 that week. You know what I mean? So, that's why copy trading is fucking OP. Also why 300k accounts are OP. But yeah, so, probably would have been a break even on the first one, but, for the sake of the back testing, whatever, we'll call it a loss, right? And then that upper one was way better. But, I'd probably be off by then. But yeah, transparency, guys. Transparency. Okay, so now we're on the 1 minute next day. Probably going to do this one and then one more. Just, wanted to give you guys like a quick little breakdown of the video. Or of the strat. And I'm going to go through it again real quick at the end of this. Okay, so now, new day. Holy shit. Hourly is chopped. We're inside of this hourly, but we're also bouncing off of this hourly. So we're in between 2 hourly fair value gaps, which is basically never fun. Nothing really happening here. This is looking like a pretty chopped day. So let's just see what happens in the first couple of minutes of the market open. Okay, so we came up, and I'm assuming we tapped one of these 5s, or this 5. So we did. We got a nice reaction at the 5 minute. Really like that, to be honest. So now, let's see. Do we have a 2 minute? Do we have a 3? We have a small little 2 minute here. We're still inside of this hourly short. So now let's skip. Why the fuck can I skip 2 minutes? That's pretty annoying. Did we get the close there? Yeah, we did. So this is at 9:42. So I don't like the close. I also don't like that we're in between 2 things here. So this would probably be an eval trade, but we'll try it. Stop loss about here. TP2 there. 7 point TP or stop loss. Probably do it to about there. Like I said, it's really just up to you, but it's around 1-to-1 for me, sometimes a little less. So yeah, let's try TP. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, so TP1 hit, and then barely broke even, and it's probably going to hit on my runners, or is it? Okay, so TP1 is hit there. The reason why I didn't like that trade as a live account trade is because very close to open, like it was only 9:41 or 9:42 or some shit. And you know, it's just really a 5-minute respect, and we're not really drawing towards anything. Like, we already hit this hourly. There's nothing really to draw towards, no fair value gaps. So I feel like that's just sort of taking a 2-minute inverse. You know, I do like the 5-minute respect. That's why I took it on eval. But for me, that's just not enough confluences. Maybe if there was an SMT there, then I would have taken it on real. But to me, that's just not enough confluences, if that makes sense. Like, there's not enough telling me I should take that trade. So let's keep going. So now we came out and we swept this low, which is pretty nice. Still not respecting any fair value gaps. I would like maybe a long off a re-respect of the hourly. Let's see, though. Okay, holy shit. So let's see if we have any 3-minute or anything. So we just closed above this 3. So for me, this honestly is low-key better than the trade I just showed. We're sweeping this low. So that's nice. We have a 3-minute inverse, which is pretty high probability. I like the momentum through the close. It's kind of a dog shit close. Like, as you can see, the stop is kind of fat. I don't know. I'd probably put the stop at the midpoint of the fair value gap just because of how aggressive the close was. And then TP1 like here at this fair value gap that we previously respected. And then TP2 at like one of those upward highs. Yeah, like this one. So for me, this is tough. This is a tough one because, like I said, we didn't go to that hourly, which could have totally been the draw. We didn't go to the 15. Like, there's no 15 that we're tapping off of. Not a 5-minute. Let's see if there's a 1. Yes, that can actually be valid sometimes. So this is, if you guys know Dodgy, he's like basically the most popular IFEG trader. Like, he sort of made it. If you get a reaction off of a 1-minute like this on the left side here, that's usually pretty high probability. So for me, if I'm seeing that, I'd probably take it. So we're going to take this on live, see how it goes. Here we go. So this would be, I guess, a stop. There it is. Look at me. I'm fucking switching up the eval on the live for wins and losses. So for me, obviously not even a break even because we didn't move towards our TP1. So this is just a straight up L. Let's see if it goes down to the hourly now. Oh my fucking god, we just got fucked. We actually just got fucked. That's crazy. Let's see what happened here. So we came down and inversed as 5, and then we opened a 5, and then inversed it back to the upside, and that's what hit TP. So, yeah, that's honestly fine. That's pretty frustrating, though. So, yeah, that 3-minute worked. Or that 3-minute didn't work. It came down and basically, it's called the manipulation leg. Would I re-enter there? Probably not. So that would just be an L. Let's take this out. So there is our first real L on live. And for me, that's fine. So it's like, what, 3, 1 break even, 1 L. To me, you know, we had the direction right. We had, you know, the targets hitting and everything like that. But we took the 3-minute and we got manipulation legged out, and instead the 5-minute worked. I'm gonna be hitting you for instructions trying to get like you. Yeah, dude, it's fucking... Dude, I mean, what's it called? The premium is like $35 a month or $30 a month right now. I don't even remember. It's like the cheapest it'll ever be. I live trade every day. It's pretty easy. Gotta go, man. Thanks for the info. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to do one more trade, and I'm going to post this on YouTube. So, I got you. No, yeah, dude. I mean, like, the premium, I'm trading live, and I'm copy trading every day, and it's the same system. This week has been pretty shit, though, so this is why I'm backtesting, just to show, you know, the strategy does work. It's really just about, you know, the conditions and everything like that. So that's a tough L because, you know, it was right, but I honestly, at the end of the day, I'd be a little annoyed about taking the L, but I wouldn't be that mad because I know that I was right. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So what is this? Now it's 7:55. Okay, so here's open. Let's go to the hourly. This is going to be the last one I do. So we came down and hit this hourly fair value gap for the first time, I believe, unless we maybe tapped it there. But we did inverse this hourly to the downside, sadly. So 15-minute, we also tapped there. So let's see if we get a reaction here. We're inside both of these. Let's see if we trend through them or not. So we have this 5-minute up here, which makes this not great, if I'm being honest, for any longs unless we come up and inverse it. So we just respected that 5, and now we're still going down. I didn't take any trade because we are still technically in these bullish for value gaps, and there's nothing really that I like here. maybe we could get a long off this. Or off this low right here. Jesus fuck. So let's see. This is also a protected low. It's a low inside of fair value gap. So let's see if we hit one of these and get a long. Okay, perfect. So we hit this fair value gap. See if there's anything on 5, 3, or 2. There is this 2 minute. So now we hit this. We sweat this low. Let's see if we get a trade on the 2 minute long. Okay, so no. At least probably not. Okay, we open up this 5 though. So now we're just fucking trending down. We're probably going for that protected low. Let's see. Yep, swept it. Okay, so this is honestly good with me. So we swept the protected low, which is a high probability setup. We have that 5. See if we get like a 1 minute or 2 minute play here. Jesus, what the fuck was that candle? Wow, that is actually the worst worst 2 candles I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. What the fuck is going on in this day? So it looks like we're going to inverse this hourly to the downside, which would make our next level of liquidity this low here, which is not protected. But let's see. See what happens here. Okay. Wow, this is weird. See if we're tapping off any 15 or anything. We are wicking crazy. So we are still technically in this hourly, I believe. Let's see. If we come back up above this hourly, this could potentially be a trade, but not a very high probability one. All right, so we're coming back up here and re-respecting the hourly, which to me is low-key sus. But let's see what we get here. So we have the 5 minute here. So there's a close. This is kind of dog shit. What is the stop? So this is 26 and this is 15. That is so bad. Okay. Stop is about 25. So what I would do is I would go break even at this unfilled 5 just because I'm probably going to get a reaction out of it. Put TP2 like there. And put TP1 like at the end of the fair value gap. So I would take this on live just because I wouldn't be that confident, to be honest with you. But we're hitting off this protected low. We're finally getting this V shape. We got a 5 minute inverse. We have an unfilled 5 above. So I would probably go break even at the unfilled 5, TP1 a little bit higher, TP2 at that high. Let's see what happens. Still in because it didn't close below. Whoa, this is actually dog shit. I'm not going to lie. What the fuck? What am I looking at? Oh, you know what I just realized? This is at 11 a.m. So I technically actually still would be in the trade, but edge might break even because I would have entered before the 11. Oh my god. Alright, that was fucking awful. Yeah, for me, I don't even know how I'd feel about that. I'm fine with that. I don't know what the fuck that was. Shitty ass day. I'm not trying to end on that, so let's look for another one. But, you know, that basically sums up this week. What are we on, like March of 2023 or some shit? Okay. Get the 1 minute here. All right, here's the open. Let's look. Higher time frame. Anything? Jesus, what the fuck is... What week am I in? Okay, so we inversed this 15, which is pretty good. Did we open up any 5s doing that? No, we literally just inversed one. Okay, so we have an upper 5. Let's see what happens here. We are respecting this 5 minute, funny enough. So that's kind of good. So we're respecting both of these right now. Let's see if we have a 2 or something. Okay, we have this 3 minute. This would low-key be a good play. Let's see if we get it. Nope, of course we don't. What, bro, what the fuck am I in? Like, what is this shit? Okay, so I'm a little not thrilled with this play because this low already got taken, but it didn't make a new low and came up already. Is there any fair value that we could target here? Doesn't seem like it. So let's just take the 3 minute. I would take this on live. 10-point stop. Okay, perfect. So we TP1 there. And then, oh my lord, there's nothing to TP2 at. Jesus. Probably just do the midpoint of this fair value gap, so about here. Okay, let's see. Alright, so TP1 gets smashed here. You go for that low. See if we get it. Nope, we get stop break even. Okay, perfect. So that's a good one to end off at. Reason for this trade was because we had the higher time frame bias. We had a draw, which was that new low that we put in. And we got that highest time frame inverse. And yeah, it's really that simple. So just to reiterate before I go, let's see if T has any questions here. Nope, I'm by myself. I'm actually a loser. So just to reiterate for the YouTube, basically, if you want to take a trade like us, you want to get your higher time frame bias first. So the directional time frames, the hourly, the 15, sometimes the 5. And if you're getting a fair value gap respect or inverse or something like that there, you'll know the direction. You could also look for liquidity sweeps on the hourly or the 15, a higher time frame liquidity sweep happening. And then you go on the 5, 3, 2, 1. See if there's any SMTs and also what the highest time frame inversion is. And then you're going for targets of like equal highs, equal lows, unfilled fair value gaps, swing highs, swing lows, protected highs, protected lows, anything like that. So you want to make sure you have clear higher time frame bias from fair value gap respects or liquidity sweeps, highest time frame inverse on the lower time frames, an SMT, which is optional, and then good targets. That's all it takes. That's a strat. We just had like 4 dubs, 1 loss, 1 break even. Or maybe 2 losses. I don't even fucking remember. We're profitable. All right. See you guys.